Hey Hillside. Well, you might think this video is going to start out a little weird, but I promise it's going somewhere. So, uh, I have been a big Taylor Swift fan for my life and a lot more back in the early days, but she's gone through some phases for sure. But she just released a new album and I've been waiting on it. And when it came out, I was listening to it, and my best friend, we both share a love of music and especially lyrics. And so a lot of it for us in connecting with music has to do with the lyrics. And so I was listening through this album, and it was funny. We kind of decided together, we're like, yeah, I kind of like the sound of it. I wish the messages were better. So don't take this video as me endorsing her messages. But we said, I said, it was a lot easier to relate to Taylor Swift's music back when she was singing about schoolgirl crushes than, nowadays. But the more time that I spent kind of listening through and looking at the lyrics and really figuring out what it is that she was saying and singing about her feelings and her emotions and things, while I couldn't relate to the situations as much anymore these days, I can relate to, the feelings and things that she evokes. And so as I'm digging through and say what you want about her music is pretty honest and pretty candid, and she's definitely gotten better at making those metaphors and making her messages more subtle and imagery, and I enjoy that and exploring that. And so as I'm going through and identifying these things, I can put myself there and start to feel like she's pulling these emotions out of me, right? She's pulling, she sings about, loneliness or and pride and guilt and shame. There's a lot of that in this new album, as well as and regret, as well as love. But then fear comes with that, and she's able to pull these things out of me, and I might be able to take some of those, a lot of insecurities. I might be able to take some of those feelings and relate them to things that I've felt them before in different circumstances, and so it pulls out, emotions. And I so admire the way that she's able to, it feels like a very therapeutic thing for her, right? That she turned to it as a young person when she felt alone and she needed an outlet, right? And so she's very poetic. And so for her, that's an outlet. Whereas I tend to I'm not really able to identify my feelings a lot. That's in my nature, is not really identifying my emotions and being able to convey them. And so through music and at different points in my life, different artists, right? Different songs have connected with me and provided me a way to pull that emotion out of me and to feel it and to identify my feelings and let them out. And as I was listening through the album on Sunday morning, it occurred to me that, I've always identified the way that, music helps me feel things, that I've always really loved worship, musical worship. I've really connected during that time. And I thought, there's totally a connection here. Music is the same thing for me. And, I'm not David. I have a hard time sitting down and writing psalms, writing out, or my feelings are expressing my emotions and identifying them, like these more artistic people. But I'm so able to identify with it and to feel those things. And music helps me as a tool. And so worship is also a tool that helps me connect with God and express my feelings towards Him, right? I might not be able as good on my own as taking that time to write those just in awe of God and glory, right? Or and to celebrate His goodness and to be thankful, express that to Him, express gratitude to Him, express what it is to feel, Whereas with Taylor Swift's music, I'm identifying in, some of the shame or the loneliness. But with God, it's identifying in the feeling accepted and feeling known, and being able to express those feelings in a comfort and a repentance. That's a hard one to express, right? But it can help us with repentance. And so I just thought that was cool, that connection with music and how worship can help us express those things that we might have a hard time expressing and help us connect with God. If you're a person that loves music and is a lyric person in just the casual music you listen to, maybe think about that when you go into worship, and you can dig into those lyrics the same way that you like to dig into lyrics in other music, and really use it to help you express what you're feeling to God and your emotions, and to lean into that. So that's what I have for you today. So then we'll see you next time, Hillside.